You guys all know that some time ago, they announced that Bruce Willis, iconic, legendary actor, action star, was going to be stepping away from from acting, with a condition called, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, aphasia, I think they call it, which gave him struggles with, sometimes he would struggle with speaking a little bit, memory retention, things like that. Well, they have now updated, because since that happened, there's a lot of misunderstanding around the condition at all. A lot of people had never even heard of it. And we saw a lot of chatter online about people saying how long till Bruce Willis comes back and all that kind of stuff. Well, Bruce Willis's family, including his current wife, his ex-wife, and his daughters, have put out a big joint statement together talking about Bruce's condition. And unfortunately, it sounds like it has deteriorated more and will continue to worsen. The reported deadline here is saying that Bruce's condition worsens with frontotemporal dementia diagnosis, which I'm not going to lie, sounds like something they made up in Star Trek. But it's a real condition. And the scary word in there is dementia. I mean, that's the scary one. The report says this: actor Bruce Willis has been newly diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, a serious indication of a progression of the aphasia his family announced in 2022. Willis's family made the new announcement today. FTD is a cruel disease that many of us have never even heard of and can strike anyone, says the statement attributed to Willis's wife, Emma Hemming, his ex-wife, Demi Moore, and children, Runner, Scout, Tallulah, Mabel, and Evelyn. In March of 2022, the family announced that the die-hard Armageddon and Pulp Fiction star was stepping away from acting due to aphasia, a condition that affects his ability to speak, write, and understand language. This is really heartbreaking to hear about, especially when, look, a lot of us are, as fans, I often talk about like when we lost Robin Williams and we lost Carrie Fisher, there is this irrational grief that hits us as fans, even those who had never, ever met Robin Williams or had never, ever met Carrie Fisher. But I think to a degree, our brains don't understand the difference. Our brains just know we spent a lot of time with that person, whether maybe not in person, but on our screen. We spend a lot of time loving their characters and being engaged with them as individuals. And so when if some tragedy strikes, it moves us emotionally in a way that maybe we're not prepared for. When I was reading this news, I felt a particular pang about it. And I think the reason for that is the same reason we got so moved emotionally when Carrie Fisher passed, because most of my life I have grown up watching, I'm not going to say Bruce Willis as a father figure, but as this strong action, can tackle the world kind of character, right? That's who we see on screen. And it's really, I don't want to say the word disturbing. I'm not quite sure what the right word is I'm looking for, but it certainly shakes me a little bit when something like that happens. It's an incredible tragedy, especially for a guy who has given the type of engagement and entertainment to us over the years that he has given. And it makes me wonder, just being honest, it makes me wonder, we've often been critical of Bruce Willis over the last number of years in his career, because a lot of times it just felt like he was phoning it in. Well, maybe he wasn't phoning it in. Maybe he's been, his condition maybe has been manifesting itself slowly for longer than we think. I mean, I'm not really sure. But anyway, Rob, you hear about this news. What are your thoughts?
Well, again, the end-all be-all of life is not making movies. And even though so many of us dream of maybe one day working in the industry or becoming an actor ourselves, it's still, at the end of the day, it's still just people. And I think when we see icons like Bruce Willis, I mean, you have to ask yourself, why has he been making all these direct-to-video movies? But he was, for a couple days' work, he's getting paid $1 million over and over and over and over again. So clearly, he knew that he was being afflicted. I think that he did the smart thing. He made as much money as he could for his family while he could earn, and probably set everybody up to take care of them because he has a number of children. And I think that was a smart play. And he's getting out. He got out when he had to. And I mean, I hate to see this happen to anybody. And I think by being able to spend the rest of his life not worrying about any kind of anything burdensome financially, and he can be surrounded by, I mean, he's got a compound of ladies that'll take care of him, what's not to love? And he can go live the rest of his life. And I think more power to him. I mean, from Moonlighting all the way through his career, he gave us 30, almost 40 years of great entertainment and a great entertainment legacy. It's funny. I was watching the new 4K disc that was recently released of Pulp Fiction, and then I listened to Quentin Tarantino tell the story on a YouTube video about how he cast Bruce Willis, and what a performer he is, and the conversation, they didn't have a very good time, but he's just, I really like Bruce Willis, and shout out to his brother David, because without David Willis, I couldn't have made a movie. So thanks to the Willis family.
When I think of Bruce Willis, obviously we think of Die Hard and all that kind of stuff. Armageddon is one of my big guilty pleasure movies in my life. I love Armageddon, but I don't know why. I often think of this one cameo he did in the Ocean's 11 franchise when they did that horrible gag that, oh, this character happens to look a lot like Julia Roberts, and it was Julia Roberts. But then Bruce Willis makes a cameo in that scene who thinks it's Julia Roberts. And I don't know why, but like Bruce Willis himself pretty much saves that horrible scene and that horrible gag they tried to do. I just always think of how he played. It was great.
Look, I want to say one last thing. He was in a movie called What Just Happened that Robert De Niro stars in, where he plays himself as not a sympathetic version of himself. And I got to give him all the credit in the world for doing it, because he was great.
That scene in the wardrobe room. Anyway, Chris, you hear about this news. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's horrible. It really is a cruel disease. I think that's such a fitting way to describe this, because not only do you start losing your own language capacities and those basic motor functions, you start losing all cognitive abilities. You have memory deterioration. Your personality changes. That's what so much of the frontal lobe controls. And so it's a really, really cruel situation, because you become a different person, and you really suffer, and your family suffers. And the life expectancy that comes with this too is still about 7 to 13 years. So it's a long time to be dealing with this. So my heart just really goes out to him and his family. And I really appreciate all of them coming together to make this joint statement, because what a really difficult thing to go through.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this news? I mean, there's no other way to say it. It just sucks to hear about this. What are your fondest memories of the career of Bruce Willis and the countless moments he has given us over the year with this career that he's had? Anyway, guys, whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, BetterHelp. When you're at your best, you can do great things, but sometimes life gets you bogged down and you may feel overwhelmed or like you're not showing up in the way that you know you can. Working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of you, because when you're feeling at your best, the challenges that life throws at you don't disappear, but you're more prepared to take on those challenges. Guys, I've been saying for a long time that we need to start prioritizing our mental health as much as we do our physical health. When we dedicate ourselves to going to the gym and looking after ourselves, we see that as a great step forward for us physically. Well, it's time for us to start taking care of ourselves mentally as well. So if you're feeling it's time to give therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, flexible, affordable, and entirely online. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. So if you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/Campea today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Campea.